What's up, y'all? It's KB, and I love movies, and I love movie lovers. And today's episode, we have someone who I had the pleasure of watching grow up. I'm going to embarrass her before she gets on screen and just say that. We have a Kansas City native who is currently pursuing her dream. She did the whole thing with going to film school, and now she's out in sunny California doing a thing, not as a struggling actress, but somewhere along those lines, and you'll find out more about that in this conversation. But I have a friend of the family, and I could really say that, not just the movie lover community family, but my actual family. We have Brooke AUDANO joining us.
Hello. Hi. I know, it is weird. Certainly. A friend of the family since my middle school, I guess.
Mhm.
You've really seen me grow, change.
I was thinking the other day, the first time you being friends with my youngest daughter, Maya, and seeing like how both of you started to come out doing theater and everything. And I was like, they're not like little kids anymore. They're like changing and transforming. And once again, here you are changing and transforming. And now both of you doing your thing in your different endeavors. So
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure watching you bloom into lovely young ladies. And, you know, I think it was like late in high school before you got ready to go to KU. And I was like, she really likes movies?
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, she does. I think she's going to do that at KU. So
Yeah.
I was like, ooh.
Yeah. I
one
remember
day
you talking
we'll talk
about when I was
movies.
in middle school, and then
Yeah.
high school, I remember I saw you once more and you were like, no way. And I said, yeah, now I'm here. So
Yeah. And it's great to see you doing your thing. It's great to see John doing his thing, because he was another one, John Dawkins, now more on the music side. But
yeah,
still.
Every time I come back to Kansas City, I always see John trying to get him out here too.
Yeah, I think he would do well out there as well. So we're finally getting the chance to sit down and talk movies. So this is great.
I know, better than the middle school me.
Nah, it's all a process. It's all a process.
Very true. Okay, I'll give myself a break.
Yeah, please do. It's, even who you are today is going to be different than 5, 10, 20 years from now. So keep that in mind.
And if anything, moving out to LA is like only reminded me that. So moving out period from home, we'll do that. But yeah.
It's a shame. I thought, June just ended. I really thought we would get a chance to see you last month, but I had to get some new eyes, and that kind of killed the budget. I was planning to go to Amoeba Records and like put a dent.
Oh my gosh. That was the first store I went in when I moved here.
Yeah.
I took the train to Hollywood Boulevard and I went to Amoeba, and I got like so much merch. Because I was like, I have to. This is going to be me now.
Yeah.
But yeah, for your eyes, just eat carrots and you'll be fine.
You know what? I think it's a little too late for that, but I'll keep that in mind for the future.
Okay, so that's fine. Well, yeah, that'll be another time later.
Yeah. So I know we're doing this live, but we're also going to kind of do it live and remix it to be pre-recorded. But we do have some people here joining us. So we have this intro from the monkey from our home away from homes, Lawrence, Kansas, almost, and Grand Lake, Colorado. This dog owner made her way to the big city and became a film production assistant. Welcome, Brooke, with an E, the Top Gun and dinosaur lover. So,
I mean, we can end it now.
The intro could be the ending right there.
Absolutely. Yeah. I like to say that I'm from Lawrence here because most people that I meet that know Kansas know Lawrence, rather than saying Olathe, which is where I originally arrived from.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And if you say Kansas City and they're not a sports fan, it doesn't register.
Absolutely not. And on the contrary, if I see someone with like a Royals t-shirt, a like Jayhawks t-shirt, a Chiefs t-shirt, I'm running. And they're running too.
Yeah. They're like, familiarity. Come here, please.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's funny.
Mhm.
A couple other ones here. We got Corey saying can't hit the live, but we'll catch a replay for sure. Yes, please do. Thank you for those of us joining live,
Very sweet.
lurking in the chat, on the replay. All of you. We appreciate you
Absolutely.
all. We got Jeff, aka John Doe Juggalo. I'm liking the logo, man.
I was
Good
about to say the logo
afternoon.
is pretty freaking sick.
Yeah,
Social media, I'll say.
I
Look at
like that. We have a lot of physical media fans, as you can see behind
that.
me.
Mhm.
Um, this is my sci-fi and fantasy month, so I was kind of lining up the movies I'm going to watch this month. So
Nice.
it's everything from like Deadpool to Donnie Darko to Moonfall. I got to eventually watch it, so
Oh
it's a
god.
good month to finally crack the plastic and watch it.
That was the one movie that I saw my mom watching in the living room. And you know,
Uh-huh.
you do like the dad thing where you stand behind. They're like, "Oh, just sit down and watch." You're like, "No." I'm
No,
standing like,
and you stand up and watch the whole thing.
absolutely. So it was interesting. Just stand up and watch it. That's the only way you can.
Yeah, I might try to do that. We got
Yeah.
Michael, who is out there. He says, "No, I did not move to LA. I was going to LA last month, but life happens. But
Mm.
good to see you again." All right. So the way we like to start this, we always like to start with a non-movie question. But
Mm.
I really don't have one for you.
Hmm.
So
Let's see. A
I'm gonna
non-movie
flip it and
question.
say, tell us something non-movie about
Non-movie.
okay, tell us an experience that you've had since moving to LA, non-movie, that was memorable.
Let's see. Um, I have one where this is like an occurrence I have every day,
Hmm.
and um, I'm always driving. I live in North Hollywood, and so I have to take the highway to go from the valley into West Hollywood and Fairfax, which is where I work.
Hmm.
And on that drive, it's become like a legend here in LA and like people in the valley that there is like this giant minion, like head and body on top of like the Universal Studios.
Yeah.
And every time I drive, I always wave hi to our Lord and Savior minion. It's just become like quite the conversation starter when people hear
Yeah.
I'm from the Valley and they're like, "Oh my God, have you seen the minion?" Oh, absolutely. Oh, you can't miss it. I see it every day and I try to avoid it sometimes, but I mean, Universal Studios is right. It's the town right south of me.
Hmm.
You can see like the Harry Potter world and the Minion, and I just that's my life now. So
Yeah.
I don't know what that says.
That registers. That's like bordering on movies right there.
Oh, I guess so.
Yeah, but it is about life in LA, which I have to imagine it's a lot different than life here in Kansas City.
A little bit so. Yeah, I mean, there's some similarities, but I don't find much of a shock to it. Uh,
Hmm.
just because I've been like, I love cities, I love people, I love new experiences. And I was like kind of prepared going into
Yeah.
it from like all the cities I've been to. But were some surprises,
Hmm.
many places.
I'm sure. I'm sure. You mentioned Minions. I have no desire to see that movie. My
No,
friend said on Friday, let's go see Maxine. I was like, sure. He said, and then we're going to see the new Minions movie. I was like, I'm good. But to make you feel a little bit at home, AMC, for all the big movies, they do different, drink dispensers, whatever. And the one for the Minions is a cone-headed minion with the straw that goes right on top. So if you don't use a straw, it looks like you're drinking out of the head of a minion. It's not as bad as the Dune bucket.
I was about to say, I was about to say,
It's not the
I was like,
Dune.
no, my heart goes to the Dune bucket. Come
You
on.
got to. That's just like you can't touch that. You can't top it either.
Wow. Yeah. Even more of a reason why I don't want to go see any Minion movie.
You'll just keep waving at the minion as you go to work.
That is the only nod I'll give to Illumination. Other than that, it is not a studio of mine that I prefer in this life.
Hmm. I was going to try to do a couple of tours while I'm out there. I have a list, as you can
Yeah.
imagine, and it's like a lot of movie stuff, movie related stuff, because the whole thing is this was a bucket list item. and I was going to do like the movie lover tour of LA. So, of course, I
Mhm.
have the Academy Museum. We're going to talk about that a little bit later.
Heck yeah.
Hollywood Museum, Walk of Fame, as I mentioned, Amoeba, go to
Yeah.
Dolby Theater, go to Geffen Theater. But then you start getting into other things like visit Nancy's house from Nightmare on Elm Street and Laurie Strode's too, which means I got to go to Glendale, I got to go over here. So, and
Yeah.
then places to eat. That's what I should have asked you. One place that I have to eat when I go out there. I mean, I have places like get bar pizza at Quarter Sheets and, uh, I don't know, Playita,
Mhm.
Mariscos for shrimp tacos. What's one place I have to go and eat while I'm there?
I think most other people will tell you to go visit like some like local cuisines, like the famous hot dog stands, the famous like Korean barbecue stands. I personally haven't really been to those as often,
Hmm.
uh, but the places I have been to are places that have a intense atmosphere. They have a killer cocktail list, like speakeasy vibes. Those
Hmm.
are what I gravitate towards. And I recently visited this one restaurant slash bar in West Hollywood. It's called Employees Only.
Ooh,
It's been like a highly recommended bar. It's like famous in West Hollywood, um, and amazing food, amazing dinner, amazing bites. It's just like it was the perfect breath for me because West Hollywood is always like very big and very like bright. Um, a lot happening, and Employees Only was like, come sit in like our dark ass rooms and
yeah,
just like
I like that.
decompose, if you will. It
I
was
like that.
I like that one. That one stuck in my brain, but I do
Yeah.
have a few others, but that's one I will recommend to you.
I already added it to the list because that trip is happening. That's all I'm going to say.
I can't
Uh,
wait for you. I really can.
Mary
Oh,
says Brooke is amazing.
wow. Well, hey, that is my college roommate.
There
Love her.
you
I
go.
was just talking about you to everyone I know here. She
Welcome.
frequently
Welcome.
comes up.
We got the Pat Matza jumping in saying hello, what's up? Good to see you.
Got some love there.
Yeah. Let's get into some movie talk.
Sure.
First thing, the third KB was just down here saying hi to you along with my wife, and she wanted me to ask you about your experience at KU Film School because she's heard it both ways. So, what
Yeah.
was your experience going to film school there?
I kind of go back and forth with what I want to take away from my film school.
Mm-hmm.
To start it all off, for background, I was attending college in 20, started in 2019, and then spring 2020 is when COVID happened. So that was my second semester of freshman year. And so during that time, I was just taking the intro film classes in person, which is just like textbook stuff.
Yeah.
Great. And then my sophomore year and my junior year was when COVID really affected the classes I took because that was when I was taking quote unquote lab courses, which were 3 hours long for cinematography, animation, film scoring, anything like that that you wanted to like really take hard lessons from and put them to activity. I couldn't really because it was either online or we had to social distance with like crews of people. So I did learn as much as I could. I learned what I kind of liked, what I didn't really like. But as for like the hands-on experience that KU really wants you to take away with,
Mm-hmm.
that was not there. Not really for anyone's fault, but like it just I moved out here and that's when I really realized that like, wow, I did learn this, but I don't have practice with it because it was under such weird restraints.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed KU. I really enjoyed the film school. I met my amazing like film friends, like John Dawkins, who we mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
He and I had every class together in KU.
Oh,
We were
really?
in every class together.
Was
Uh,
that like coincidence or did you guys coordinate that?
At first, freshman year was a bit of a coincidence, but then
Yeah.
we started to coordinate that as we made like some film friends in our film degree,
Mm-hmm.
um, something to like work on groups with everyone, which was nice.
Yeah.
But aside from like the friends and like the tight knit group I've made, the hands on experience was lacking, and I
Mm.
wish I could have. I mean, I don't know how I could have like done anything differently, other than overriding COVID rules, I guess. But
Yeah.
I'm not about that. So I don't know. It was really good. I met some amazing professors. Like my favorite, I don't know if you know him at all. His name is John Nickham. He was my screenwriting professor, and he reminds me so much of you.
Yeah.
Very down to earth, hands on. Very like movies are his breath of life. And so meeting him, I think, really made my college degree worth it, which is kind of weird to say, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would
When I
say
was there, I took a lot of film classes, so I got to know most of, because I started the interaction with the film department from the employee side of things. I got to know a lot of them that are still there. Did you have any classes with Kevin Wilmot? Because by that time he was in and out like almost every other semester. So did you?
yeah, I didn't personally, but my good friends loved him and took so many classes as they could. But when it came to my time, he was kind of like more outside of KU. He's doing his
Yeah.
own thing at the
You
time.
know, something about winning an Oscar will kind of,
No, yeah, just put it on the shelf and move on.
yeah. Yeah,
You're
it's
fine.
like, go back to your roots and teach a little more.
If I
So
hear
for those
one
of
more,
you that don't know what we're talking about, my former film professor, now personal friend, Kevin Wilmot, is a screenwriter and he is a writing partner with Spike Lee. And I'm really hoping to get him on here for a conversation. I've had him on my podcast years ago, but I definitely want to get him on here so
yeah.
we could like talk and have him on live and have him entertain questions and so forth. So that would be lovely because
I
he is
want to see you both
fascinating.
gab. It would be so much fun.
Yeah. As a recent graduate entering the entertainment field, I can't speak today.
You
What's
can.
been the most surprising or unexpected challenge you've encountered so far, and what are you doing to navigate it? Great question.
I know she has some good ones. Um, you know, that is a great question because when I first moved out here, I knew that there was a strike going on. It was the actor strike and the writer strike. And so I was prepared for that. Prepared, I say, because I just graduated college and moved from Kansas. I've never been out here before in my life. And that was really hard. It was difficult because I, one, could not start any film like career that I wanted to. And two, I couldn't find any other job because those who were working in the film industry were working other jobs now. And so I was really struggling for a bit. I couldn't quite land anything. I was applying to, I think, 40 places a day and still following up with those the next day. So the recent graduate, I think I just felt like I felt like I entered the freshman year of life after graduating college. And that's the seniors are just so mean. Just like I couldn't handle I just couldn't wrap my brain around. I was like, I know I have the skills, I know I have the personality, I know I can do great at any job I can, any job I could land, but it was just no one was picking up the emails, no one was picking up the phone. So having to deal with silence and still grow and work from it was really a learning curve. But I'm grateful that I could deal with it. And I mean, just like entering college was a shift of like the social clock. I had to shift my social clock again upon moving out. So lots of fun ones. The strike was not very fun, but it's kind of over now. So hopefully it'll be better.
Yeah, I have to imagine there's still ramifications from that. I mean, it's kind of like even from a a movie lover's perspective, it's like you kind of saw that lull in the types of writing on shows and stuff like that. It kind of reminds me of, and do you remember when Heroes came out on TV, and then they
Yeah.
had they had a writer's strike, and then it's like afterwards the episodes got really crappy for a minute, and then it got better at the end again. But you could go back and see exactly where the effect of the writer's strike back then kind
Yeah.
of affected the show.
It's just crazy.
Yeah,
And you hear everyone that like they have shows that run for like 10 seasons, 15 seasons. They're like, oh, we'll only watch 1 through 4. I
Yeah,
think it's just such a
yeah,
shame.
yeah.
Uh,
We used to call it jumping the shark because it's kind of like the old show Happy Days where Fonzie jumps over the shark. The show kind of sucked after that. So
yeah,
hence the term, jumping the shark.
I like
Uh,
that.
Mary loves you.
Mary, I love you too. For everyone out there, I love them.
We got Frank checking in from the West Coast as well. He's, I believe, is in Portland, up in Oregon, saying good morning. Hello to you, sir. We got Paul Draws saying hello, hello.
Oh, I
We
love
have
that.
some other comments, but I will save them as we go along. AKA your mom. We got Jane Doe check in saying hi to Jeff. They're related. We got
Ooh.
Brother Dell saying what's up. Good to see you, brother. I forget
Sheila,
you're off for the summer, so I'm glad you could join us, man. Let's see.
oh, I love that. That's gonna be my new profile pic too, by the way. I'm taking it.
Which
The
one?
Bella movies.
Yeah.
Oh, I love art.
Let's see. We'll come back to some of these questions here because I have my own questions. And
Yeah.
I always say I have questions, but I call it the conversation, not the interview. So if you have something you want to vibe on for a while or you have questions for me, feel free to ask.
Perfect.
Um, so as I mentioned in the Instagram story and the monkey also mentioned, you are a film production assistant. So I've been trying to do this thing where, as movie lovers, we really don't know all the various aspects to what it takes to bring a movie together, you know. So I'm trying to get actors, directors, producers, all different crew members, as far as, you know, shorts, features, writers, if I can. So describe like a typical day from the life of a film production assistant on set.
Yeah. And like you mentioned, you're trying to get like conversations with all different kinds of people in the wide ladder of the film industry. So you're
Hmm.
speaking with someone who's just starting, someone who just made a scratch on the surface. Um, as someone who came from a place where there was very none to little film like exposure, you're talking to someone who has zilch. So I use film production assistant as a loose term because right now what I'm doing is I am trying to grab and see what works for me, where my skills and my assets can like land best for a studio. Because my ultimate goal out here is to work for a studio, work for shows, work for anything that I can see grow, like a full time job, which is so hilarious because I feel like that is very infrequent. Um, so I use my film production assistant as a loose term. So what that means for me and what I have been doing with that term and that job title is I right now have been starting to meet as many people as I can, connect with alumni. I've been trying to work on my personal skills, see what's needed, what studios are demanding for an assistance. So what I have been doing recently is I've been trying to grab and see what short films I can help work with,
Hmm.
specifically animation, because I've been leaning towards like motion graphics, 2D animation, like typography, anything to help out with like title screens, credit screens, animated scenes, anything that has like motion graphics promotion, because I have 2 degrees in film production and strategic communications or journalism. So I'm trying my hardest to follow my 3 things, which is meet people, connect with alumni, and the other one that I forgot. But I've just been working with short films, and what that kind of leads to be is I meet with directors, producers, which have been like people I've met here. And this is all free work because I'm still trying to find my roots where I can like launch off of. And I'll like have meetings with people and they'll be like, hey, like you really want like an animated title. And I kind of like, we kind of go back and forth. I read the script. I see what is like what their vision is. And I just like work on my own time
Hmm.
and like work with Procreate or I work with like InDesign. I work with anything.
I was going to ask you what tools do you like to use. So
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Good you answered.
I also like Final Cut Pro.
Hmm.
I love the Adobe Suite, but like I don't use it
Premiere
as much.
Pro is harder to use for editing than Final Cut. I've been using Final Cut since my Apple days.
Yeah.
So it's so weird when I try to go back and use Final Cut because
Mhm.
for work, I'm Premiere Pro all day, all night. And then all of a sudden I'm like, why doesn't that show? Oh, that's a Final Cut shortcut.
I know. Because I
So my
used to work,
mind is like doing the Mac Windows
yeah,
thing, except it's Premiere Final Cut.
I can pick up programs quite well, but I mean, I'm used to using Final Cut from like high school when I did
Yeah.
the announcements.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I use kind of whatever I can. So on top of like trying to work with short films, trying to like have some sort of credit in there and help people I've met uh,
Hmm.
to kind of like help them help me.
Yeah.
At the same time, I'm trying to learn the industry standards. I'm trying to like apply myself to different programs. I'm still trying to apply for like studio positions. It's just kind of like this cloud of things I have to work on all together to like try to find like my little slug my way in. Because
We'll get
everyone
there.
I've met here is it just depends on who you know.
Yeah.
When I hear
We'll
that,
get there.
yeah, I die.
We'll get there.
So I'm just
Um,
trying my best.
Scotty D says, shout out to the rising superstar, Brooke, for chasing your dreams. You got this in the bag.
Scotty,
Gotta love the support. I
oh,
love seeing the support because honestly, sometimes that's the biggest thing is, you know, when you're like, is this really going to work out? And then you got people around you just like giving you that help,
yeah,
propping you up, keeping the main things important. You know, you're on a journey. So it's like the payoff is not always going to be immediate. It's not always going to look the way you intended it to look, but it's like all these things you go through gets you to that point, and that's a beautiful thing because life is never a straight line. So it's a matter of the turns, the twists, setbacks that
yeah,
get you to where you end up being, and they add up to those experiences. Those experiences is what ends up teaching you the things that you need to know in
yeah.
order to become that person.
And that's what I love most.
I have so many different things I want to ask you as far as which directions to go. So let's see. You mentioned like a lot of the things you do as far as skills. Do you have one you think that is most important? Like you were saying about meeting up with alumni. I know that there's Jayhawks on Hollywood or whatever. Are you involved with them in any way? Or have you reached out to them in any way for like
Yeah,
helping even the students coming behind you
yeah,
for when they make that was it usually a spring break trip that they normally come out there?
yeah. But they didn't do one this last spring break, which I thought was a little, that was odd. Or I didn't see any. I don't think they did it, and I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
That was a little bizarre for me. But yes, I have been trying to reach out to alumni. There was one person that I reached out to who it was really, really great. She's amazing. Her name is Laura, Laura Beeson. And when I met her, she was about to have a kid. And I was like, you have your time. I don't like, I have a really hard time with imposing on other people.
Yeah.
And it's hard being at like just starting to be like, I need help from someone that like I don't know.
Right.
Someone who I know wants to help me, but I think I just kind of struggle with like I guess imposter syndrome where I have these skills, but like I don't really know what to call them yet. I don't really know how to apply them yet. Like I just need to start in an industry, like in a internship or start like in a production assistant actual role in a studio to kind of like say that I can do things. And
Yeah.
so it kind of deters me from really reaching out and being super gung ho because I don't know where to start.
Yeah.
Um, it's been
But
hard.
that's the thing. It's like it's almost like instead of like having just one specific goal and saying I don't know how to be specific, it's kind of like flipping it and saying I could go in any different direction. So
Yeah.
it's like, you know,
Yeah. And that's what I've tried. Like, that's what I've advocated for myself as well, where it's like, I can fit in any mold.
yeah,
Genuinely, I'll be happy. But there also comes the other side of that is studios want you to be specific. Like, they don't want a catch all, they want
yeah,
you to be confident And saying that is great intentions, but
Hmm.
it does relinquish like your confidence a bit. Even though I have the fullest, but
Yeah.
yeah.
We got Mega Mike, another Californian, saying, "Hello, movie friends. How y'all doing? We're
I
hanging. We're
appreciate the
chilling.
y'all. That felt nice.
It's 10:30 for you people, but it's lunchtime here, so good to see you." He has a great channel as well. Check out Mega Mike the Movie Man, aka Mega Mike the soon to be movie dad. So welcome
Aww.
to this channel.
He
Very
should
cute.
add that in his profile pic.
I
Like,
think he should. I don't think he's ready yet. He's got some time.
okay.
Going back and talking about imposter syndrome, imposters don't get imposter syndrome. So think about that.
Yeah.
I like that one.
I only think of Among Us. I'm so sorry. We should all play, actually. Everyone.
Yeah, there you go. Pick your color and then just go from there.
Absolutely.
Two things I want to talk about. So you mentioned animation. I think these days when people think of animation, they think of anime or they think of like Pixar stuff. And neither of those are what you're referring to. You're talking to more like the Saul Bass kind of thing. And, you know,
Yeah.
credits,
It's
titles, and fonts and lovely things like that.
yeah. Because I think what I love most is like a little bit of I don't know if this is the right word, but like the psychology of film, where like
Hmm.
you have your intuition is telling you what is good. Like
Yeah.
there's some films where you like kind of doze off to or you just aren't really engaged. And to
Hmm.
me, I think animation has a play in that. Animation is so striking. It's
Yeah.
so like visually glorifying. And yeah, so I love to like fit animation into any little project. It doesn't even have to be a fully animated short, which I love.
Hmm.
But even like regular, like young adult, no budget short films that I've met out here, I was like, just a little bit of animation or different mixed media, I think elevates your product and your project way more. And
Yeah.
so I like to meet with people who are effortlessly working on their like heart short film. And I'm like, what if we throw a little spice in there? And
Yeah.
it always works out well. So that's what I've been really enjoying um, like to do so far.
Yeah. And when I think of like famous intros, I was not, I would say last weekend, you can't see it, but on top of this shelf over here, I have a box set of all four Psycho movies. And I think we've moved so far away because over there is Hitchcock, but we've moved so far away from having like really grand opening titles or cold opens like me. A recent one that I love was Evil Dead Rise because the cold open to that just had a beautiful title card. It was
Yeah.
like rising out of the water. But on Psycho, you basically have the opening credits over like a nice little animated short where it
Mhm.
was just like just playing with the fonts and the fonts gave you kind of like a like you said psychology of a film. It gave you that frenzied feeling before you even got to it. And I love that. It's not to say my favorite. I mean, all the James Bonds have that and everything. Mega Mike went ahead and asked a question that I was going to ask. What is your favorite movie opening, if you have one?
I do. This is the one that like always comes to my mind because I hear the song at my work all the time.
Yeah.
It is the Grease opening, the Grease
Yeah.
animated opening.
There's it. All right. There it is.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of the song name right now, but it starts out with like the bam,
Grease
and
is the
then
word.
it just like launches off. I love that opening.
Frankie Valley. Grease is the
Yeah,
word.
that's it. Yeah, that one sticks in my mind not only because I always watched it with my mom and my family, but like
Hmm.
that opening scene I think is like the strongest in the film. It kind of like it shows you not only the time period, but it like gets your heart pumping with the music. You have
Yeah.
all these like amazing 2D old animation styles thrown at you. Um, I love Rizzo in the opening scene.
Everybody loves Rizzo. It's kind of like that's kind of like the sign of like maturity. You move from thinking Sandy is everything to like, no, Rizzo was the one.
Like, Rizzo was a baddie.
He's a badass.
Like, come on. Yeah, stay with her.
Yeah,
Um,
I love that.
yeah, so that one's my favorite.
Adventures of Tintin. Yeah, that's a great one too. I have that somewhere over there.
Mm.
But that's also a great opening. If you have your favorite openings and you're in the chat, just throw them in. We'll throw up a few.
Heck yeah.
Uh, Paul adds his experience in film class was okay, but when he was taking film business and entrepreneurship, felt lost and confused because he's autistic. So unfortunately, he got lost on track. Yeah, sometimes it's like one class that could just set you back, and it's a great way, honestly. Kind of like a blessing in disguise kind of thing because you realize maybe that's the part of the business that's not for me.
Hmm.
Everyone should have some concept of film business or you know when it comes down to contracts and understanding that, but to get fully involved in it sometimes you need some additional help,
Yeah.
especially if you go through a class and it's not for you.
Yeah. And sometimes starting in the industry in any film industry aspect, uh,
Hmm.
they're really everyone will learn a different way. And I
Yeah.
think sometimes the film industry feels like a boys' club where it's like you
Talk
have to
about
be
it.
the cool kid, you have to know everything. And like from a employer's perspective, like yeah, when I hire someone, I want them to like I don't want to have to teach them. But when you're hiring someone for a low internship role, when you're hiring someone for 18 an hour in LA, like you're not going to get people the spectrum of experiences really vary. And as someone like me starting out, like I would feel lost in the rush of everything. And I can't imagine anyone that like learns a different way or, it's really, really difficult. And there's not much patience, I'd say.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
really feel you for that.
And I have to imagine that there's a lot of feelings of, well, you have to know somebody to get in, and
Yeah.
that's when they give you like you said, that 18 an hour job just to get you in the door. When
Yeah.
you're like, well, I actually have the skills to do this, and I should get that opportunity.
Yeah.
And you said, like an old boys club, and I have to imagine just also being female, that's like an additional hurdle to jump through, which is really sad,
Yeah.
especially in the age that we're in. But it's still the case. We were talking yesterday, different genre of sorts, but music. I
Mhm.
read an article saying that, over the last 15, 20 years, how many number one hits were female sung, but written or produced by men.
Yeah.
And it's all but three. And it's really, they were talking about Sabrina Carpenter's
Mhm.
Espresso, number one song of the summer, blah, 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 written by men. And, not to get into the whole gender wars or anything, but it's like the same thing happens in the film industry too. So it's like you struggle a little more because it's still, like I said, an old boys club in a
Yeah.
sense.
See, when I hear that statistic, like, it just makes me want to be like, okay, so what are the systems? Like, I want to see a song from start to finish. What makes it to where it has to be like written by men? Like, why? I just want to like see how each industry works and why we get the products we get when the mass populace wants like singer songwriters, female of all different kinds of shapes and sizes. It's like we want to hear their voices when they sing, their own written voices too. I don't really understand why there is so much of a rift when it comes to like pop music and those Billboard hits. It's like I just want to see it from start to finish. Where are we going wrong? Like what
Yeah.
is the
Or
it just
where can it be added to so that
exactly.
there are more voices
Yeah.
that cross the genders and not just strictly male, female, but everything in between as well. So,
Yeah.
Dal says the opening credits of Deadpool are his favorite. I'm going to get a chance to look at that this month again. Birds of Prey really has a good one. Yeah,
Mhm.
great examples. Great examples there, guys. Talk about favorites. What are some of your favorite, like, all time animated movies, TV shows, getting into the full genre itself?
Mm. I would say my favorite studio, my favorite like animation company is Studio Ghibli.
I heard it start to come out of your mouth.
Oh, come on. Yeah. I mean, oh, absolutely. I love
Hmm.
any animated work that has a really, really strong plot, theme, and script. And
Hmm.
what I find most often is that there's so many like Illumination. I think I do not like the writing in the slightest. I think they dumb down the audiences. But Studio Ghibli is definitely my favorite for sure. Some old Cartoon Network shows, Chowder was always one of my favorites. Very like witty. I always love, as of like recent times, Steven Universe always stood out to me. And right now, I really enjoyed Scavenger's Reign, which is like new on HBO and now Netflix.
Yeah.
Very like that's a perfect example of a like short or a plot that was released like on YouTube, and audiences loved it and they made it into a full show. I love when that happens, when something's so strong that it just has to be made.
Yeah.
So it's like a very experimental animation show.
Right now, Ryan is geeking out with every title that you mentioned. He's like, yeah. Going back to studio, do you have favorites in there?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, my favorite.
Howl's and Spirited Away are mine.
How's it what?
Howl's Moving Castle and Spirited Away. Those are my two.
Those are absolutely my favorites.
Really? Okay.
Spirited Away is my all-time favorite movie. Since I was born, it was my favorite movie. Some of my other favorite Studio Ghibli movies are Nausicaa, Valley of the Wind, which is like, I think, one of the earliest ones.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Princess Mononoke. Howl's Moving Castle, it feels like a fever dream to me. It's so charming and amazing. It's it's just so digestible, I think.
Yeah.
I love every film. I've seen them all. They have like my list. There's some where I will never touch again. But oh my goodness, they're so deep. The depth of plot and theme is just immense. I love it. Yep.
Dal mentioned Spirited Away and also Princess Mononoke.
Oh yeah.
Good one as well.
Mm-hmm.
Michael says Spirited Away, Howl's movie, same as me. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Same as us. All right, I'm gonna flip it for the next question because I kind of hinted at it, but I was looking forward to being there, maybe on your shift or anything. But what's it like working at the Academy Museum?
It has been. I'm really, really glad I worked there to start. Because it was kind of like the perfect introduction to not only a job in LA, but like a job that is like Hollywood, LA, and film culture. So I work in a restaurant inside the museum because I love meeting people and also working for tips. But like I've become great friends with the security there. I've become great friends with all the staff at the museum. And there are so many times where in a restaurant, the Academy Museum will buy out our restaurant space for the evening, or premieres will be held there, and our restaurant completely transforms into like these amazing like themed premieres with like different furniture and everything. It feels like a big event, which it is. So I've met some really cool celebrities. Like I served Dua Lipa, and she was so sweet, so amazing. It's been really interesting being
I'm sorry, I need a moment.
Dua Lipa.
I know.
Dua Lipa. You take a moment.
I'm just imagining serving her.
Oh, she's so pretty. The first thing I thought, I was like, oh, that's a really pretty lady. And then I like left the table, came back, and I was like, oh, that's Dua Lipa.
Mm-hmm.
So she's
You can continue now.
Yeah, I know. It was a moment of silence for Dula Peep. Yeah, it's been really cool working and like seeing and hearing voices that I've heard like from my screens. That was always my favorite. I like to hear voices. Like Mark Ruffalo, Robert Downey Jr., Cillian Murphy. They were all there when we hosted the Academy dinners for all the nominees of the Oscars for like a week.
Yeah,
that was fun. That was cool to see, but it made me feel like the world was so small because I see all these like stars and they're having like these like grand events at our restaurant. Cut to us, the staff, like just dicking around in the back. Like it just made me laugh that, you know, in our minds growing up and existing, we like imagine what it'd be like to be famous, like going to these events. Oh, I'm going to go to the Oscars. But then you cut to reality and I'm the one serving you. And like I don't take anything seriously. I don't know. It just kind of made me like lower the stakes of what famous is.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed that aspect of working in the museum.
I think more people need to do that and just realize, there's a famous quote from a college football coach that say they put on their pants the same way we do. And
Yeah.
it's like, it's just like they chose a career that is more prominent and more in your face than, a mail delivery person.
Yeah.
It's, they're humans just like us.
Yeah.
And like I've told people about I've met so and so and so and so just from growing up in New York and everything. And they're like, "Oh my gosh, what was that like?" And I was like, "I don't know. Pass them on
Regular.
the street." Yeah, it's
They
like
drink through the mouth just as I do. It's crazy.
I only got starstruck once, and that was Cindy Crawford, and for good reason.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we view like celebrity culture the same way.
Yeah.
I don't really have like, I think the only time I'd be starstruck is if Hayao Miyazaki was there. But one
Hmm.
of the Academy dinners, they had a name card for him, and I was like, I swear to God, if he's going to be here, that's going to be crazy. But like, that man is not going to leave his home in Japan.
But that's like fangirling for
Yeah.
one person
Yeah.
versus there are people that are like that for any celebrity that they come across.
Yeah.
And it's like the girls when they went to New York earlier this year, they were like, "We passed Colin Jost on the street." I was like, "Oh, okay." It's like, "I
Cool.
know Colin Jost." I was like, "Yeah."
Hmm.
Did he stop? Did you say hi? Did he say hi? Did he take a picture? No, but we passed him. I was like, "You passed a whole lot of other people too."
Yeah. 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 It's been nice to affirm how I like imagine feeling about celebrities. And it's like, yeah, they're just regular. It's cool to like see them and hear them, but
Hmm.
necessarily like I don't feel a need to like I'm just such a big fan. I'm like,
Yeah,
what
yeah, yeah.
do you
And
want?
I think like being out there, what I've heard is it's kind of like you don't want to be like that because they're expecting that from way too many people. So
Yeah.
it's like be cool,
Yeah.
and unless there's a reason for you to approach them, just be like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah. It's funny that like
RDJ, sure, I served him, not a big
yeah,
deal."
it's fine. In my workplace, the people who make the biggest deal about it are my managers. And they're the ones telling
Weird.
us not to make a big deal about it.
Yeah,
They're like,
yeah,
okay, this is who you're serving. I'm like, okay, fine.
yeah.
And they'll send out like a million appetizers, a million drinks. Like there was one time, I probably shouldn't even say this, but there was one time that we were at the nominee dinner and we were hosting Robert Downey Jr. and like not our staff, but one of the Academy staff people sent his table a round of drinks, and I was like, that is like the one person that like everyone knows is like they don't
Know
drink.
your history.
And it just like it blew my mind. I'm like the amount of just misjudgment in that, and like they expect us to make those, but you don't.
Hmm.
It just like it makes me laugh. But
Yeah, and I mean, if you're young, you might be able to say, "Well, I didn't know. I wasn't
yeah,
around during less than zero." But at the same time, it's like I
yeah,
think enough people know, or at least maybe it should be a judgment call. Just
yeah,
because you're a fan, you don't turn around and do something like that. So
yeah. It's weird.
anyway,
Hmm.
I have one more question to ask you before we get to the five takes, but I wanted to put up a certain comment that popped up earlier, and then that will lead me into the questions. So we have someone we both know saying, "I have no doubt that Brooke will find her dream job and she will be amazing. Same. Can't wait to see her on the red carpet. Big hearts."
Oh, Christine,
Oh, Christine.
love her. She's out here soon. She'll be on
uh,
the carpet with me.
that's her mom.
Hmm.
Um, of course, we both know her. But I want you to share a vision of what your big break looks like in your mind. And give me
Yeah,
a second here. Give me a second. Go ahead.
in my mind, when I feel like I've made it, or my big break will be working for an animation studio. Um, and that studio can vary. I've always loved Sony. I've always loved like Bento Box. Working for a studio and working specifically on a show or a movie in a production role, a production management role, or story role. And I feel like the moment I feel like I will have made it will be when I open the bottle of wine that I've been saving for when I land like a stable job. And also when I can sit back and like feel at peace and at rest and knowing that like everything I've wanted to do for so long in my life, every show, every movie I've seen, that I felt, oh, but you missed the biggest thing. You missed, wait, if I was there, I would say this and it would be 1,000 times better. When I feel like that I can actually have that impulse relieved and shown, I think I will have made it. That drives me every day to give stories to people that like have touched me. I think there's so much media out there, but there's so few that really mean something from the start to finish, you know? So when I can input myself in those ways and have a stable job and have a really cool place in LA, maybe have a dog, then I'll feel good. But yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Going back to what we were talking before, Dell adds, native New Yorkers are bred not to be starstruck. It's true. It's like nobody had to tell us. Like, if you go to the park, like I was 5 or 6, and before Michael Jordan came Dr. J, and Dr. J was playing at the ball court, you know, as he was on a Converse tour with another guy named Rick Barry, and they just showed up to my local basketball court, and they didn't have like a crew of people with us, you know, with them. They just were playing basketball, and it was like not a big deal.
And that's not the same here.
No. How did our DJ react to the round of drinks?
He was very sweet and dismissive. Like he was like, oh, like that's like, it was a whole table. So at that table, I think it was all the actors nominees. And so it was Mark Ruffalo, Cillian Murphy, Robert Downey Jr. So he kind of just like received the shadows, was sweet, didn't really like, it wasn't like a reaction good or bad. He just was like, oh, like there's something on my table now.
You have to imagine in his circles, he comes across that situation very often. And after these years of, you know, sobriety, he has to come up with a way to deal with that.
Yeah.
Much for everything else, you know.
And when he has people like other actors around who have worked with him for, you know, months and months and years, I think they, you know, help that too. So, but yeah, people just want to they want to like go have dinner. They don't want to be like flaunted or, I don't know. It's weird, but I always like
that. If you are liking what you see, go ahead and like, subscribe, comment, blah, 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 blah.
Like good stuff.
Yeah, all that good stuff. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you'll know when we have more conversations like this.
This would be better with information. Just a little.
Yeah.
I'll animate you. Don't worry.
There you go. Hook a brother up. All right. You ready for the 5 takes?
Ooh, yeah.
All right. We will start the way we always do with number 1. Name the film that made you fall in love with the movies.
Do we even have to ask this question?
No, but the people might not know. They didn't catch it before, so let's go.
My hands down favorite movie that made me fall in love was Spirited Away. 100%. It was the movie that I first connected with as a kid. So it has like that strength to me, but also has endured like the test of time, and I watch it almost every season. It just is everything I ever thought that film could be. Not only animation, but like just film. Yeah. So it just, nothing else compares. But I want to make something that does. So.
Yeah. So it's on its way whenever it happens. Number 2. Name 5 of your favorite films. I say it that way because people are thinking I'm asking them for the 5 favorites, but no, just 5 of them.
Yeah, and in no particular order, my 5 are Rocket Man. Love that one. I really connected with it at the time. War of the Worlds, Tom Cruise.
Okay, yes. I was going to say which one, because you got the one from the 50s, and then you got Spielberg one.
It's the Spielberg one.
Okay. Talk about it. Don't even go on yet. Talk about it.
That one is my favorite because every time I was sick as a kid and home
Hmm.
from school, I would always watch War of the Worlds. I think watching like thrillers or like action, it made my symptoms go away. And I just love the ominous like sound. The sound design in that film is so great. It has one of
So
the best first acts I've ever seen in any film. The third act has its own moments, but I love, oh my god, just I love alien movies too.
mhm.
That one is like the pinnacle of what I love. Yeah. Oh, so good.
I know, I know. I was like, please, please say something about the sound design because if you don't, I will definitely say.
Oh, it's so, oh, I have the DVD here and the box is so broken because I've
Mm,
opened it so much.
all
Um,
the years of watching.
oh, so good. Okay, then my third favorite film is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Similar for, oh, come on. When I was here for my birthday,
Yeah.
I went to go see a live orchestra viewing. It
They
was,
are touring again.
oh, really?
Like
Oh,
the movie.
guess I had to buy more tickets.
I
Guys, drop
just
in
saw
chat,
that the other day
fund
that
me
they're
for this
touring.
ticket. Great sound, great. I love, yeah. My fourth favorite film is Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Quotable, quotables. Love it.
It's what I want comedy to be
Hmm.
in any movie. And then my fifth one is Tron Legacy. A little,
Yes, I pulled that to watch this month for Sci-Fi Month because one, I haven't watched it in a long time.
oh,
Two, it still doesn't have a 4K, so I only have
yeah.
the Blu-ray, the
Mhm.
3D Blu-ray at that. But I remember when that came out, and we were still in the old house, and I used to just watch that, just of course to hear Daft Punk, but
Yeah.
also just to feel immersive in a movie. And that movie did it for me. It made
Yeah.
me feel like I was going into that world, and we all want to get lost in a movie
Mhm.
like that. So while it wasn't the strongest, it was definitely like, yeah, I
Yeah.
I could mess with this one.
Everyone would like that you nailed it, like nailed on the head, where you feel like this immersiveness and like it doesn't have to be the strongest movie for other like, theoretically correct film terms, but like it was the sound and like the immersion. Like that was what like Daft Punk I love to death. And I think that
Same.
really was like the start of my musical awakening.
Hmm.
Just rent on Redbox all the time from the local like Price Chopper or CVS.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I loved it. Couldn't put
Yeah.
it.
And like we got a super big screen down here, and I was like, I keep looking at all these movies that I've watched, of course, 50, 11 times, but I haven't watched it down here. So it's
Yeah,
going to be a different experience watching it down here with the sound and this not Dolby Atmos in that movie, but the surround sound and all that. I think it's going to be fun to watch that movie on the big screen. So I'm looking forward
yeah,
to the rewatch of that. What was the one you said before that? Scott Pilgrim?
yeah,
Oh, well, put it this way. We love that movie in this house.
yeah. I
All the
bet.
kids and I can sit there and we will do a quote along.
Hmm.
And I think it was one day I wasn't here, and Ryan turned around and pulled his mother in to watch two movies with him, and they made mac and cheese. And I think he pulled Hot Fuzz and Scott Pilgrim.
Just up her alley.
She would hear us watching it in the background and say, "What stupid movie are they watching?" But you don't understand. That movie is a
Mhm.
film class in editing. It
Yeah,
is a film
yeah,
class in using a beat,
yep,
a cadence of a movie and script and editing to deliver comedy.
yep.
The sound effects in there, everything from sonic coins to that little B-roll sound that you would get on an episode of Seinfeld, all these little things, and
Yeah,
as well as launching so many careers for young actors as well.
I love like that tight, sharp editing. The
Hmm.
like here's one wit joke and we're moving on.
We're
Like
moving on. We're not
we're
we're
not
not
slowing
falling
down.
on it.
I love it to death.
Yeah,
That's
and
exactly my humor.
I love all those original Edgar Wright movies. You know, the Cornetto trilogy, Scott Pilgrim, Baby Driver. They all have that same beat, that same cadence to it. And I mean, Last Night in Soho was kind of a departure, but it was supposed to be different.
Hmm.
But like all of those movies before, just had that certain timing to it. I love it. I love
Yeah,
it. We do
yeah.
have some comments. Spirited. You were spirited away watching Spirited Away. Nice. Which Rocket Man, the Elton John movie or the Disney movie? I'm thinking it's the Elton John movie.
Yeah, Elton John for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Love for War of the Worlds. Yes, sir.
that's
Yes,
right.
sir.
You know it.
Lucky enough for you, I did watch Spirited Away back in March for Women's Month. I really love their mythology creature designs. True indeed. Good
Oh,
call.
okay.
Aside for certain characters not dying, I really enjoyed War of the Worlds. Yeah, yeah. Yes.
Mhm.
Spider Verse. Untie?
Hey, we'll read it as Unite. Don't worry. Don't worry.
United. Yes. Yes.
Well,
I got lost there for a second.
I'm here with you.
Yes. Michael, I think he used to work by Gremlins. He collects signatures and pictures. So uh, he has Edgar Wright's signature on his Shaun of the Dead. There you go. The Queen scene in Shaun of the Dead, one of my favorites.
Oh, I love that one.
Every day I get a little sad when there's no release date for Beyond the Spider Verse. We just got to know it's coming. We got to
Hey,
wait. We got to
okay.
be patient.
All right. That's a slow simmer, my dude.
Yeah, it's like a good pot roast. You just got to wait.
Exactly. And you're gonna love it.
Let's get to number 3, everyone's favorite question. Name a popular or classic movie that everybody loves, but you're not too keen on.
Oh my God! Don't hate me. Don't hate me.
No, no, no. We've gotten a lot of movies that I've heard people say Godfather, E.T. I've heard people slam on Casablanca. You are not going to be different, girl.
Well, mine was the first one you said, The
Which one?
Godfather.
The Godfather?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Stop. Yeah, you keep it blocked. I don't want to see it. Okay, so the reason for it is, first of all, this also is so okay. I haven't even seen the movie, so hold on.
Okay.
I have not seen the
Reading
movie.
without watching. That's new.
I know. I haven't seen the movie. For me, my dislike for that film is, first of all, I'm not a big fan of like mafia gangster movies. I
Hmm.
I've been there, done that, and I think all of those like the gangster movies are kind of a reference to Godfather. I think they take it from the Mother movie, which I
Hmm.
respect, understand. First of all, not my genre. Second of all, it's kind of like that thing when there are people that you don't really like that love a certain thing. Um,
Yes, yes, yes.
and there was just a lot of like, what's the word for it? Like people feeling better than me because they love The Godfather. And it's like,
Uh,
I'm just walking on the street. Like I don't
mhm.
care for any of your opinions.
A
I think
lot of
there's
Tarantino fans will like that.
yeah, kind of some ego to it. And I'm like, it's just a movie of people like with rings kissing. I don't know. Um, yeah. Besides, I've seen Zootopia and the little mouse scene, so I think I've seen The Godfather.
Okay. Um, Between you and your friends, somebody has access to Paramount Plus. I'm
Yeah.
not going to tell you to watch The Godfather. I'm going to tell you to watch an excellent show called The Offer.
Hmm.
Watch that and then see if you want to watch The Godfather. It's
Okay.
not going to make you love the genre anymore or anything
Yeah.
like that, but it's basically a show, a limited series that talks about how the movie came to be,
I
how it
like
got
that.
made.
I would
So,
appreciate that, I think.
yeah, it was well done.
I'm
So,
willing to be changed, but
yeah.
you know.
Or next time you're in town, just come over. We'll pop the 4K in, get comfy,
All
give
right.
you your own bowl of popcorn and a drink. Go
I'll
from there.
bring some homemade pepper jelly from home and
Oh, you know about the pepper jelly. Yes, yes, yes. So good. So good.
mhm.
Number 4, name a critically hated movie that you love.
This one was hard for me to find because like I guess I had a hard time defining what critically hated is. And so I kind of went with like things that really didn't gain popularity or were not critically loved. And so I was looking, like searching through my lexicon in my brain of the DVDs I'd always pick up. And me and my brother on any road trip would always watch Wild Hogs. That
Wow.
is a movie that I love, that I don't know if it's critically hated or not. Well, maybe it's just not like out in the mainstream. Um, but that's the movie that came to my mind where it's like this was kind of a shot in the dark film, but I love, and it's great, hilarious. Watched it
Not
as
to say that Rotten Tomatoes is your guide, but 14% on Rotten Tomatoes.
oh okay,
So definitely qualifies.
okay, good. Yeah, that one is great. I can see why it maybe is not critically loved, but
Yeah.
another again, like movies, everyone has their movies of like, oh, I have a personal connection to it, and so that
Yeah.
was mine. I can
That's
always
all
hear.
it takes. That's all it takes. You know, you watch a movie, especially when you have siblings, something that strikes you, like, let's say, like, grew up on Disney Channel,
Mhm.
and for some reason you know, like, my wife was watching the Lizzie McGuire movie by herself the other day,
Yeah.
and or a Cheetah Girls movie or something like that, and it just takes you back to a time.
Mhm.
So you just need a connection to a movie. But
Yeah,
Wild Heart, that's a good one. That's a
I
good
know.
one. Couple more comments before we land this plane. Love Tron Legacy, one of my favorite fictional worlds and soundtracks. That soundtrack is amazing. Daft Punk put their foot in that. Love Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Yes, yes, yes. Queen Scene, the song by Queen. Don't Stop Me Now. Watch a movie. It's really good. Uh, at least watch it before you hate it.
I'm not gonna say that I hate it,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I just, like
It's the popularity of it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah. Adding on to that, even within genres, subgenres, I hate, there are movies I love. That is true. I am not a found footage person, but
Mhm.
Poughkeepsie Tapes, shout out to Caprice for putting me onto that. Lake Mungo, I'm not a paranormal activity person. See, like that stuff,
Yeah.
But even within that subgenre, there are movies that I appreciate.
Yeah.
Uh, Already watched Godfather as part of my homework assignment and not digging it. I think you had to be there. I think so. It's like certain movies that, not to say it doesn't age well, but it's a timely thing. Like for years, I did not like Texas Chainsaw Massacre
Mm.
but I had to go back and reflect and look at it during the period it was done
Yeah.
and what else was out at the time, and I appreciate it a lot more now.
Yeah.
Plus, Sally was screaming too much for me, so yeah.
Oh,
Scotty adds Kung Pao, hilarious movie that has a 13% rotten. Yeah, if you know, you know. Yeah, Kung Pao is funny. I
Scott
like
would. He would.
it. All right, my friend. Thank you. Thank you for doing this. It's like I feel like you should be like sitting here on the couch just
I know.
having this conversation. But look, we got to do it this way, so I'm glad we got a chance to do so.
It is super nice. It's so great. Blast from the past, but in the best way.
Yes, and a look toward the future. So I like that too. But definitely come here. You could choose from any of the shelves, throw something in after you watch The Godfather, at least.
Okay, fine.
Including, you could say, you know what? I got another 2.5 hours in me. Let's just make it a double and watch Godfather Part Two. So
Either I come there and I'll watch it, or before you come out to LA, I'll watch it. I'll
okay.
promise.
Either way, I feel bad. I could have gave you the digital code, but I just gave that away to somebody the other night.
Oh, I'm sure I can find it.
Oh yeah.
Don't
Oh yeah.
worry. Yeah.
All right. So as we land this plane, we end with number 5. Realistically, number 5. Who would
Hmm.
you like to see me have a conversation with on this channel?
I'm biased, but I
Hmm.
really want you to interview your wife, Christine. I really want to see that happen. I want to see her perspective of being around someone who has such a deep desire and how that's leached to her life. I think that'd be so. I mean, I would love it. I'm so curious.
She will not get in front of a camera the way you are. So
But she's so.
it would have to be one of those, silhouette in interviews.
Or like her voice like augmented and like her
Yeah,
name
yeah.
changed.
So you don't hear the Brooklyn accent coming out,
But
on
she's
words like
so
water and coffee and drawer.
for everyone listening, she is such a spitfire. Oh my God, like I cannot get enough of hearing her talk and like listening to her stories. I think, if I'm gonna be put outside my comfort zone and watch The Godfather, I think she can be on the camera.
I hope she's watching this upstairs. If not, I will show it to her later
Oh, I love
and
her.
see what she thinks. Believe me, I have people who want me on their channel mainly so she can come on too. I was like, this is not her place. This
I
is
know.
not her. This is not her groove. She don't get down with this. She puts up with me. That's all I'll say. I'm sitting there and I'll be like, you want to go see a movie? And then I know by the look
Hmm.
I get if I should finish it up and say tomorrow or right now or next week. Sometimes I'll try to plan it and I'm like, hey, I got us tickets for Deadpool Wolverine. Why you want me to see that? Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody can go. There's no seat assignment per name. So,
And I
or if
want to
I'm
hear
going
her
to a
thoughts about that.
screening, I know which screenings to invite her to and which to just be like, oh, no, 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 no. That is not her groove. But she went to see In a Violent Nature with me, so I'll give her credit for that.
Okay. But yeah, it's being around and having your partner love a like fully head into a hobby or fully head into their career, like it's always so interesting to see how partners like how that leaches into their life and how it becomes a part of them. So I always like to hear it from
Yeah.
but yeah.
Look either back on Instagram or on TikTok. We started doing this thing. As you can see, I have a lot of movies and a lot that I've seen before, haven't seen blind buys that are unopened because I'm like, I think she wants to see that too. So
Mm.
I put them all on a wheel of names, and we've been doing this thing called Date Movie Shuffle Roulette. I try to do it after Prince's song Dance Music Sex Romance DMSR. So anyway, so we just spin the wheel and whatever it lands on we watch.
I
And then
love.
I get the commentary afterwards. So we've done it a few times. We watch American Graffiti, Cruella,
Mm.
Dungeons and Dragons, something else I don't remember. But it's fun. And we were just saying the other day, hey, we need to do that again sometime soon. So
I love
it's
that.
nice.
That
It's
is
nice.
You guys have the best relationship.
We try. We try. It's a daily thing. You got to keep trying.
Oh yeah.
Uh, let's see. We have a few more comments and then we'll end this. Michael, watch Taking Up Deborah Logan for the genre of paranormal fake documentary movies. I'll write that one down. That will be a fun interview. That will be a make believe interview. That's all I'll say. When am I coming back to LA? I got to get the budget up again, man. When I do, I'll let everybody know. And Dell is saying he would love to see that conversation. You, Bob, a whole lot of other people, but I'll see. Maybe she'll do the podcast. I think that's what it'll end up being. I think I'll have her on the podcast. I don't think she minds the voice, but
Yeah.
I think, the bringing her on camera is a no-no. You got her on camera, and even before that, she was like, I look hideous. I was like, you look like you're home and you're comfortable. Your
Yeah.
ears look back, you're good to go.
You're relaxing.
She was going to like get all gussied up just to come and say hi. I was like, why?
No way.
Why?
No.
Just go say hi.
Yeah. I've seen her in the water, on a cruise, in the baking sun. We're good.
Yeah, you've seen it in all states, so I think she's good. My friend, thank you so much for doing this. I am so proud of the woman you are and becoming. And now I could officially say this. You need to come here. We need to have drinks and watch a couple movies and just
I'll
come
shake
back home sometime soon. And we'll make sure and get together. At least, maybe do dinner or something.
That'd be amazing. It's amazing to like have my memory of you and like to see you now. And it's just the exact same feeling I had. I remember when I was little and you would tell me you're so proud of me too. And it just, I don't know, I just really.
I am. I was then, I am now. It's like watching like a flower bloom. It's a beautiful thing. So
Dinner and drinks for sure.
I'm proud of the woman you're becoming. Keep doing your thing. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Just wait, be patient, take all the experiences that you can. And everyone else, thank you for watching. And then, as I always say, Go watch a movie. Have a great one, everyone. Enjoy your 4th. Be safe. All that good stuff.
Thank you,
Take care.
everyone.